Brightest blessings, everyone. Psychic medium Elizabeth Grove, the Paranormal Priestess. Welcome to the Paranormal Priestess YouTube channel. I hope that everyone is doing well. I hope everyone's peaceful out there. It's Memorial Day weekend. I can't believe it already. Whatever you are doing, whatever you are able to do, given what's going on in the world, I hope that it brings you joy. I hope that it brings you peace. If you are new to this channel, I welcome you. Thank you for being here. My name is Elizabeth. I am a divine channeler, medium, remote spirit extractor, white witch, and divine alchemist, and I also happen to be a divine twin flame on the path to reunion. And I have a video today for you that I feel is a great follow-up for those of you who watched Powerful Methods to Clearing Blocks and Moving Forward from the Past. That video, I feel, was just very supportive with just some ways, some suggestions on how to heal blocks. It's always about, how do we be more proactive in our healing. We have to know what we're healing. That makes it a lot easier to be conscious of it. But then when we're conscious of it, how do we do it? And if you haven't watched that video, if you are new to the channel, I definitely urge you to watch that video. This one I say is a great follow-up because this is about the shadow side of healing. What actually goes on with healing that may throw some of you off. If you are new to healing, it may throw you off. And I tend to get a lot of questions from my clients, or I get emails, really not understanding as to some of the things that are going on when one is engaging in healing. Things that are maybe unexpected. So I definitely want to shed some light on this because the more you know, the better. Knowledge is definitely power, but certainly when you take that knowledge and you put it to good use. So let's talk about some of these things. I have some notes here in front of me just in case I forget anything, because I don't want to do that. I really want to touch on these things so that people are more informed and that this can help you in your own personal healing so you can move forward working with what's happening. So what happens when we heal? What happens? So many times we have to go. This is the shadow side of it. Remember, that's what we're focusing on today. We have to basically revisit our wounds. We have to go back into it. For so many people, a lot of things, say from childhood with trauma, things have been repressed, things have been buried. And certainly the shadow side and the challenge of healing is that in order for us to release it, for us to heal it, we have to go back into it. We have to work through it. And that tends to be really hard because we have to go back into those emotions that are so uncomfortable. We have to experience those thoughts again that are just painful thoughts. And also, too, we can't leave out the fact that we have to also feel a lot of those sensations within our physical bodies. Remember that healing is all based of, holistically, mind, body, and emotions. So we feel a lot of things within our physical bodies, too. And we have to realize that so many of our emotions, that those negative blocks, those negative energy blocks, they manifest within the body. And so keep that in mind for anyone who's going through ailments, going through any type of dis-ease, that's also the case. And you might want to connect with your body and see what types of messages your body has for you, and take the time to do that. But the thing is that we're bringing all of this stuff, all of this garbage, all of this toxic stuff to the surface, and it's so uncomfortable to have to feel that again, that many people get thrown off with that, and it's obviously stuff that we don't want to feel again. And some people tend to, give up on that, or try to push it away and deny it because it's just way too painful. We become that vessel of pain again. And the thing is that if I can encourage people to stay with that and to understand that you do have to go through it again, we do have to become conscious of the unconscious. And that's the thing that people get thrown off with, is that when we have things like repressed emotions come up, so much of it that's been buried, it has to come up, it has to rise up and then become conscious, meaning we're becoming aware of it, we're acknowledging it. And that way we can really look at it. We can look at it honestly, and we can at that point set our intentions there that we are now willing to let go. We have that intention of letting go. We have that intention of forgiving the self. We have that intention of forgiving others. So we're feeling it again, so that way we can work through it consciously and release it for good. And it's really important to understand that you're going back into it again with a very positive intention. You're coming from a positive space to close the doors on the past. So I know it's very hard, and that's the thing. That's the thing that always throws people off. Having to remember things like whether, especially things like abuse. Some people have had, repressions, or they've disassociated, or they've completely were in shock when something happened to them. Perhaps they didn't have a memory of actually what happened to them. And now we're at this point now in humanity's evolution where we're healing everything. Everything's coming up. The world, of course, is changing, and you're changing with it. So we are going up and going higher. But the only way to do that is to have this clean out happen. Okay, and when we remember things again, when we have to go through those emotions again, the first reaction a lot of times is, my gosh, I just want to run from this. I just don't want to have to deal with this. This is something I try to control, push down, push away, not think about, basically in that denial. But the truth is, the real healing comes from, bravely working through that and staying present with those emotions and thoughts, no matter how uncomfortable, and staying very non-judgmental. And that's very hard to do for some people. It really is. These things are not easy. It's hard work. Our intentions for, our souls made that intention, made that plan to ascend, so many of us. And that takes just so much self-healing, self-work, to be able to clear out, the collection of projection, as I say, and, have our vibration and frequency raised. But stay with it. Try your best to stay non-judgmental with it and see what comes up, and to allow yourself to feel it. This sometimes comes up for people, is that, people, just gotten so used to, well, I'm not going to allow myself to cry. I'm not going to allow myself to feel. And what I often get from Archangel Raphael in sessions is that this is very damaging. It's now time to allow yourself to feel those emotions. If you haven't gotten that chance to have that good cry, if you haven't gotten that chance to really get out your feelings, even if you're getting them out on paper, even if you're writing a letter to someone, it's so cleansing to do it, and you don't have to carry that density around any longer. And that's the very important intention there, is that you no longer want to carry that density around. It's not serving your vibe or your frequency. Therefore, it's not serving what it is that you're attracting. Okay, you have to be it before you can see it, right? So allow yourself that time, that space to feel it again. Have to go through it again, I know. But that's some of what throws people off, and being uncomfortable when healing. The other thing too that people bring up is about using the violet flame. Anytime we're transmuting energy. Now, I did a whole video on the violet flame prayer meditation, one that I put together. And what I usually hear from my clients is that when they use this very high alchemy, Holy Spirit purification alchemy, and they're transmuting their stuff, transmuting all of their beliefs, their karma, things that have limited them. I hear it makes things worse. I feel worse. Things are coming up. Is this supposed to happen? Maybe it didn't work right. Maybe I shouldn't do it, and all that type of thing. And also for those who are twin flames, who are on the twin flame path, I also hear, well, it's creating more separation between myself and my beloved. Now we're really not communicating, and oh my gosh, is this not really serving me? Is this not really serving our connection? And the answer to that is no. It is serving you, but the way that it's being perceived is incorrect. And that's because someone does not have that knowledge of how healing works. That's why I'm talking about this on this video today, about the shadow side of healing, so we better understand it. So when we're shifting energy, especially when we're doing it at very high levels, just think about the divine portals that we go through, such as the moons, think about eclipses, right? Think about the solstices, the Lion's Gate, 11, 12, the retrograde energy, all those types of things. We're going through these very, very high level activations. So what it's doing is we have this divine cosmic light coming in. It's activating our light body. It's activating all of our bodies, really. The physical body has to be able to catch up as well. And the thing is, what happens, right? We talk about ascension symptoms all the time, right? My back hurts, I feel sluggish, I'm very tired, I'm having hot flashes or nighttime sweats, I'm getting angry, very emotional, I want to be left alone, I'm having old things come up for me. That's what happens, right? So how does that feel? It feels awful, right? Okay, we have this very high filter coming through. It's filtering through and it's cleaning you out. But again, it's not a 1, 2, 3 process where just energy is just clearing out of you and that's the end all be all of it. No, definitely not. So we're having so much of that toxicity. Again, think of it as, filtering up. So that way you can become aware of it, feel it again, and that's also in a physical manner. Okay, and once it does, then we have to be able to look at it. We have to be able to work through it, take the time to see it, acknowledge it, work with it, and allow it to, move on, move forward, transmute, turn into something positive, right? Turn those negative vibrations into positive vibrations. But we have to go through that. What people, look at is, oh my God, this is a setback for me. I feel awful. My vibration has lowered. My frequency has lowered. And people often say things like, I can't do this anymore. I'm exhausted. I just can't take it anymore. And believe me, being on a journey as an advanced soul, as a twin flame, I feel you. I understand, where you're coming from, because again, these are the shadows, these are shadow aspects, these are the toxins, mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic, spiritual toxins, all of these toxins coming up, and we have to re-experience it. It has re-emerged. We have to become aware of it again. We have to feel it in every single way in order to clean it out for good. Close the door and think about that. I'm just going to, remind you of that again, is that we're cleaning it out for good. So the violet flame, getting back to the violet flame, it acts as this really powerful shifter of energy, transmuter of energy, of changing the negativity into the positivity. Okay? That darkness into light. Okay, and it is really super, super powerful, and it's a tool that really I recommend to anyone and everyone, regardless of being on the twin flame journey or not. We're all here awakening. We're all in, as we always say now, we're all in this together, and we are. anyone could benefit from working with the Holy Spirit, the seventh ray of Archangel Zachiel, and Holy Amethyst, because it's such a powerful purifier, and it helps to raise your vibration and frequency very high, and it helps you to accelerate your spiritual growth. But in order to do that, again, we have to understand that it's going to bring up all those things that we don't like to see, we don't like to feel, we don't like to think, and it does so, again, as it consciously comes up and out of the body. Okay? And it's important to understand that we are not doing it wrong. It can be very intense. If you feel that the pace of your healing, whether you're using the violet flame or a different method, is too fast or too intense for you, then it's for you to slow things down a little bit, or ask your guides, ask your higher self to slow down, the intensity of what's coming in, the activations, so that way you can work with it that much better. You can function a little bit more. So, that's something that you could do and work with a team, and they can help you out with that. But the violet flame is definitely not something that would make things worse, as far as it would be a blocker on your journey, or blocking you from your beloved or anything like that. It's just that it's such a high shifter of energy, and it's bringing those things up so intensely. So it's an intense purifier, and it brings up all the toxicity intensely. And just to note on that is that for myself, when I do spirit extractions, remote spirit extractions on people, some of the work that I do, depending on what the case is, but for, say, beloveds, when I do cases on twin flames, I'll be guided to, transmute things like trauma and repressed emotions and trapped memories, and more of that shamanic type of healing. But I'm doing it at very high consciousness levels, from a divine level. And that's why it's just so intense, and purging is very likely, after I do this type of clearing. And I always let my clients know. I give them a very thorough and detailed aftercare letter to explain, things that may come up, what you can expect from when, someone is working on your energy and shifting you at very high intense levels, so people know. And this is why I'm doing this video today, to let people know. Okay, you're on the right track. You are on the right track. Stick with it. Stay with it. The crossroads. Let's talk about the crossroads. I've mentioned that before on other videos. The crossroads. For those who understand the old religions, the old path, it's the crone energy. It's the cauldron of transformation. It is a scary time for so many people. And let me tell you, this is the time when I get so many people coming forward inquiring about readings. The crossroads scare the crap out of people. And a lot of times this is also crow medicine too. And the crow itself represents the keepers of the karmic law, the balancing of karma. It's also the divine messenger. But crows really bring up that stuff, the stuff that we don't want to see, the stuff that doesn't serve us. And so much of that is also connected to balancing karma, ending karmic situations, partnerships, and that type of thing. The thing that scares so many people at the crossroads is this. It challenges the ego. It challenges our truth, what we've known to be the truth about ourselves and the path. We often feel stuck. We often feel negativity towards ourselves and others. We feel lost. We completely feel like we don't have this safety net there. That's the thing that's very confusing and throws people off about the crossroads. But although it's a scary time, we can't see in the dark. Okay, that's when we really seek to find the inner light of ourselves, the inner light of soul, the inner light of spirit. It's really a time when we're getting some really major healing work done. It's a profound transition time. But again, people feel lost with this. And a lot of times I get, say, twin flames asking, I don't know if I'm even on this path anymore. I don't know if I'm a twin flame anymore. I don't know if this person is even my twin anymore. I don't feel them. I don't know. I don't know what my purpose is. Endings are hard. And that's the thing about the death. Death scares so many people, right? It has throughout history. Everything from the physical death, but what about the spiritual death? What about the things like the dark night of the soul? That's a huge example there. Of feeling lost, confused, not knowing who you are any longer, not knowing what the truth is anymore, not knowing where to turn or where your life is going, right? So, those are the shadowy sides. But when you look at the other side of that, what's really important to know is to look at the greater picture of this. And the greater picture is the opportunity to transition, the opportunity to end out the old ways, the old beliefs, the distortions, the limitations, everything that is not truly your authentic soul. Anything, self-sabotaging behaviors, addictions. It's a chance for us to be able to, again, become conscious of these things. Unfortunately, we're feeling it. We have to think of it again, work through it again. And the thing is, it's very difficult because at the crossroads, we're often thinking, when these things are coming up, we're not feeling good about ourselves. Sometimes these things come up, many times it does, and we feel like crap about ourselves. Accountability comes up, responsibility comes up. We finally get it. We finally get the things that went on, and we don't like how we acted. We didn't like the choices that we made. We don't like what we did in the past. And we didn't realize it then going through it, but here we are, now we're becoming conscious of it. And it's very hard to do that. And often people, it's just hard for them to process. It's hard for them to look at themselves. It's hard for that accountability. But it's so, so important to growth. It really, really is. The crossroads gives us a chance to truly transition and have that new beginning. Because remember the cauldron, for those of you, who understand that, connected to the old Celtic religions and such, Celtic path, the transition and transformation is the cauldron of Caradwen, the goddess Caradwen, which is considered a crone goddess and a moon goddess, but she belongs to the cauldron of transformation, of knowledge, of inspiration. But that cauldron also represents rebirth, a new beginning. Where there is death, there is light. Okay, there's always that light that's within that cauldron, that candle within the cauldron, that spark of brand new life. And that's what's really exciting about the crossroads, is that although we're going through this temporary madness, temporary insanity, right? That's what we're pleading at these times. It's the hope and the having the faith as well that there's going to be a new spark of life, a new beginning for us once we get through this really important transition, this really big breakthrough. When people are going through the crossroads, they tend to see a lot of symbols and synchronicities. They see a lot of double numbers. They'll see birthdays. They'll see names. All these things that are basically, from the universe, from source, from your angels, reminding you of your truth, reminding you that you are currently now at this point where you're making a breakthrough, you're making a transition. Don't give up. Stay with it. Your truth is still your truth. People tend to forget their truth or lose their truth, I'll say, at the crossroads point because it looks bleak. It looks like there's no way. It feels awful. It feels like their counterpart is just not connecting and just not understanding and just not getting it or just not making changes in their life. And we tend to get triggered and we tend to question, what has this all been about? What has this whole thing been about? And is it time for me to move on in a different direction? Doing something completely, off my path, basically, is what I'm saying. Is it time for me to just forget about what I thought was my truth? And the answer to this is no. It is not. And that's why the universe and source and your angels send these reminders. They're reminding you through the crossroads time, the transition time. Oh, excuse me, hold on a second. That'll be picked up in a moment. It's really important to realize that you will definitely go on. You will definitely go on. Okay? And it's important. It's important to understand that. Okay, the questioning of the truth, you don't have to lose your truth. And that's what Archangel Michael always reminds people, is that you don't have to lose that truth at all. Okay, stay strong, stay committed. It is that time for meditation, it's that time for reflection, it's that time for gathering a new insight also at the crossroads. And the things that we are afraid of are usually the things that we don't know about, the things that we can't see, the things that are going on beneath the surface, the things that are going on behind closed doors, okay? The things that came out of nowhere, the surprises, look, and I think that was almost perfect. I never have a phone, the phone ringing in the middle of a video. But I'm going to leave that in because you know what it's like? Things kind of come and you're just not ready for it. And it's about sailing through it. It's about, riding the storm, so to speak, right? So that's an important thing that, for the crossroads. And we talked about the divine portals. The other thing that throws people off is when they've done a lot of this healing, they're exhausted, obviously. They think they have been done with certain issues, certain traumas, and lo and behold, here we are, it's back again, right? Here we are, oh my gosh, no, it's back again. It's back again. I thought I was done with this. We'll have a portal, and these issues will come back again, these traumas will come back again. And it's called retracing. For those of you who are familiar with that we have to go back basically and go through these other layers. And that's what's, sometimes difficult for people too, is that I'm exhausted and I have these other layers and maybe I'll just never be able to heal. Maybe I'll just never get there. Maybe I'm just immune to the healing process. The more I try to heal it, the more I can't seem to get by it and all of that. But think about retrograde energy that we have to go back to move forward, right? Right? We're in some retrogrades now. Mercury retrograde is a prime example of that, but we're in Venus retrograde. We have a couple of other planets too. A few, as a matter of fact, that are currently in retrograde now. And retrogrades are all about, okay, those planets are not having their influence there, but it gives us, again, the opportunity to go back to see what else we didn't address, see what other pieces are there, and do that. And I think that's really important. And if we look at that in a positive way, we won't see it in such a scary way or take it as we failed and judge ourselves and judge the whole path and judge the whole truth and judge the process. Just work with and stay present with it. Okay. Some people also, too, I want to mention, they feel like time is running out. That's another thing, like I got to beat the clock, or I've been on my journey and been on my awakening for a long time, and I'm wasting time, and I don't have enough time, and all of that. And that's all about, honestly, not staying present, not staying grounded. And that can cause a lot of anxiety as well, and that's a shadow side of healing. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is really, really an important one, is the attachment to false identity. And for a lot of the divine masculines, this is currently coming up. And you can let me know through the comments if this is something that you're finding, or maybe yourself you're finding this. And it's about, distorted aspects of ourselves that we've identified with being for so long, and we have so much trouble parting with it. That's how attached we are with it. Okay, some of us, some people have even had it to a point where, that these false identities, they truly identify with it being them. It's caused them to have false excitement, even false arousal, as to these distorted aspects. And when I'm talking about that, I'm like thinking of things like, getting high off of chaotic energy, and then that's my excitement. Things like say, hey, oh, I'm getting away with murder, so I'm excited about that. Or being the bad boy, I'm the bad boy, and that's exciting. Or I'm the bad girl, or I'm the drama queen, or I'm the drama boy, or, I have entitlement. I'm the commander in chief here, so it's like my solar plexus on overdrive, and we're so used to identifying with that. It's even lower distortions of sex and getting highs off of that. It's about your appeal, this false appeal in the world. It's not really you. It's not your true higher soul. It's not your true higher self. Okay, but the thing is that parting with these feels absolutely vulnerable and feels absolutely terrifying, because a person identifies with this so much that they feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like everything is being ripped from me. I don't know who I am any longer. Okay, I feel completely lost. I can't attach to anything. Again, it's feeling like I have no safety in that everything's falling down, crashing down. I've lost control of my identity. I've lost control of my life. And, at that point, the ego is holding on to dear life. And this is certainly, the shadow part of healing here. Because when you purge these things, when you purge these false identities and everything that's made you, attached to that, all the conditioning, all the projections that you've collected, and how that's created those identities. Again, when it comes up, you are not feeling good about yourself. A lot of times people are also revisiting that self-sabotage. They're revisiting these false identities and reliving it physically in order for them to finally get it, finally see it. So that way they can, understand that, hey, this is not serving me. It's not bringing me happiness. It's not bringing me fulfillment. All these false arousals and false excitement is actually not fulfilling me. It's false fulfillment. It's basically just distraction. It's basically it's based off of fear. It's based off of not being within self-love and self-empowerment. And, that throws a lot of people off. And I can understand that. It's for people to understand too, it's not about facing your fears only. We have to face them, but we have to face them with also the intention and the ability to conquer our fears, to be able to eliminate them completely. Because some people have gone through life with, and it seems like it's a strong thing. I'm going to face my fears. I'm not going to allow my fears to control me. But the only thing you're doing is you're challenging yourself and you're getting through it, but that energy still remains. Those patterns still remain. Those limitations still remain. Those traumas still remain. So then you'll just have to keep on getting through it. So, it seems like it's a victory, and perhaps it is in that moment, but it's not fully resolving everything. So we have to really look at it from the point of view of, I'm going to face them, but I'm also I came here to conquer, right? We came here on earth to actually conquer, to conquer our fears, and to eliminate them, and to step into balance, okay, to step into our higher energy, our higher frequency, a higher vibe, and be able to manifest, co-create and co-manifest the best, and be able to lift this planet, right? And that's what we're here to do. But, this is the shadow part of it, of just staying so attached to who we are, and just feeling just very like, having an iron grasp on, some of those false identity aspects, because it's just all that we know. And people worry too, the things about being judged by others, how they'll be seen by friends, family, how they'll be perceived in the world. Of course, some of this is dependent on your background, your traditions, even some status, what you've experienced in life as to what, how that goes. But that's another area of it too that scares people. Again, death. It's a scary, scary thing. But these are necessary deaths to new lives, new beginnings. Okay. The last part that I want to talk about, very, very important for people to know at this last part here, is when you're going through the things that we're talking about, of course, it temporarily lowers your vibration and frequency. And when it gets to that point, it makes us vulnerable to psychic attack. It makes us vulnerable to lower beings coming out to try to interfere with us, create obstacles, and basically kick us when we're down. And, I know a lot of people, who I've worked with have had that happen, where, hey, they're purging, they're letting go, they're not feeling well mentally and emotionally, physically, all of that, and they're getting attacked, and people are coming out of the woodwork to attack them. Triggers are coming out of the woodwork, and they're having entities like demonic, satanic, luciferic, malicious souls, that type of thing coming at you. Yeah, it's a reality. It's a reality that's they're attracted to fear-based energy. They're attracted to lower energy, and at that point, they're resonating with you. And it's not reason enough to get off the path, and that's what they're hoping. They're hoping to just get you to the point where you're giving up on everything. So it's for you to understand that and to ask for protection. Call in Archangel Michael. Call in his legions of light. I did a really powerful Archangel Michael attunement on the channel, which can help you to do that. It's really important to protect yourself while you're going through the shadow healing. It really is. And to also ask for Archangel Michael's blue fire sword to further clarify your truth, your path, help to cut away any types of resistances, obstacles, interferences while you're going through what you're going through, and to also help to bring in more strength and commitment to yourself. So know that when you're asking angels for protection, when you're putting the requests out there to angels for anything, that's when they'll be able to step in. So you do have to put the request out there. But I definitely urge you that as you're going through some very profound healing, difficult healing, to be protected while you're doing this. And just give yourself the space. Give yourself the time and space. Don't rush yourself. You don't need to force your healing. That never helps. And if you have to take a day off, couple days off to be with yourself, if you need to close yourself off from people a little bit more, during the time of quarantine, it's certainly a time where we're giving a big opportunity to clear out things and tune into the self and tune into the bigger picture and source, why we're here and what we're meant to do here. And remember, that the divine is with you, source is with you. We have so much divine intervention that's helping and supporting your processes, but remember, it takes your participation. It's not all based on what's going on cosmically. It's there to help, to support, to guide, but it's you who's working with source. It's you who's working with those energies, the universe. So, know that you're not alone. You aren't alone, even though you may feel like you're alone going through a very difficult time. Know that you will get through this, and you will end up being much stronger, much wiser, much more peaceful, happier, much more balanced, and very much detached. And that's a beautiful thing. You'll stay very present, and the only place we live is in the now, right? So I really do hope that this video was supportive. Please let me know. I am available in case anyone is guided for very high level readings, for channeled readings, and I would be more than happy to help you out. Have the angels come and step in, and if you're missing anything with your healing, or if you're not sure what you're here to do, or if you're having questions regarding a twin flame connection and dynamic, we are here to help reconfirm and help clarify things, and set you on the right track there if you feel like you've been falling off, okay? And so for more information on that, you can go to my website, theparanormalpriestess.com. Okay, you can go to my services page. Thank you all for all the testimonials, for people who have recently sent me testimonials. They are all up. I'm so honored and blessed, for these testimonials and for getting the chance to read for you and to work for you, work with you and clear. Thank you so much. I'm really glad that everything's helped. And for more information, again, how to contact me, it's paranormalpriestess.com, and I will leave all of that in the description below. Remember, from the heart of the darkness is born the light. Brightest blessings to all of you. Take care, and I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.